So coming to the end of Project Leo, it's been so amazing. UK's never done anything like this before. Everybody's been learning, but it's a programme that gives us enormous hope for the future.
Before Leo, nobody had really tried to put together so many complex bits of the energy system. So there's one thing, conceptualising a market, actually putting it into practice on the ground is something else.
We have developed tools such as LEMAP for doing local area energy planning to assess energy flows, what low carbon technologies can be installed, and how all of this can help achieve local net zero.
For this energy transition to happen, it's going to need change in the way that every household and every business is using energy. What we've shown in Leo is that that's completely possible.
We can work with people at the grid edge, and we can all benefit from that zero carbon, smart energy system that results at the end.
We've learnt that data at the grid edge enables us to do a lot more. So part of the project has involved putting monitors into the system.
Having that data ready and to hand, particularly data like the network capacity and the mapping tools that we have developed, has been really, really important in understanding where the need for that flexibility is and the options that we can use for delivering it.
We've been working to develop IT systems that are going to enable flexibility to work at the grid edge to help to balance the system with flexible assets rather than reinforcing the system all the time.
One of the key objectives was to develop an IT platform we called the Neutral Market Facilitator that allows us to, firstly, as a DSO, identify a need for flexibility at a local level, but secondly, facilitate access to the network for peer-to-peer trades. And that platform development has been vital to the success of the project because it's allowed a conduit of information to flow from the local energy marketplace through to the DSO.
One of the key findings for us is that there's a vast potential within public sector buildings to provide flexibility back to the grid. All public sector organisations have got some form of buildings, and together the flexibility that could be harnessed would be huge.
We definitely want our campus buildings to be contributing to local flexibility markets. We've deployed smart and bi-directional vehicle-to-grid chargers on campus, which have successfully provided flexibility services through Leo trials, and we are very excited about that.
We've also demonstrated some really exciting things with our communities where we've installed solar panels on rooftops and put batteries into households, or run trials with people who are installing heat pumps and demonstrated how they can be used flexibly as well without having any impact on the people in those households.
It's not just one service, one asset that's going to make an important contribution, but it's how do we stack and layer and provide value from different types of assets because of the innate nature that they can provide.
What we really think is the exciting opportunity is smart community energy schemes, working with householders and businesses to optimise their own energy use, but also to coordinate their energy use as a group.
One thing that we would like to be known is that residential consumers are willing to provide flexibility to the energy systems if engaged in a way that it speaks their language and not the energy system language.
A lot of ordinary people like you and me are concerned about the climate, but we don't feel empowered to actually do anything about it. The great thing about local energy systems, it gives normal people a route to actually make a positive, significant difference to climate change.
If we're going to get this transition going at the grid edge, all of us need to understand more about the energy system than we currently do.
Although energy efficiency may be relatively well understood, energy flexibility is less well understood. And that is something that we are going to need to get to grips with, because when we use electricity is as important as how that energy is generated or how much of it we use.
The policies aren't here yet in the UK for local flexibility services, and more work needs to be done in looking at what are the baselining methods and the way in which we evaluate the compensation for each of these different assets.
We need to make sure that those learnings inform policy, inform other stakeholders that can be the enablers, but at the moment they're still the blockers of unlocking a much higher amount of flexibility.
But we also need a skilled workforce. Just taking Oxfordshire as an example, the estimate is that we need 10,000 more skilled installers than we currently have.
We need a clear mandate for local authorities to be involved in helping guide and shape local area energy planning, ensuring that we can devote the resources and the time that would be required on our journey toward net zero across the county.
How has Project Leo gone? It's been a blast. It's been incredibly hard work, but we've done a shed load of stuff and we've demonstrated a way forward that we can keep working on.
I'm much more optimistic compared to the beginning of the project now that we've got a foundation within our stakeholder community, within Oxfordshire, but as importantly within the DSO community as well.
We've gone from advocating for change to a position of actually being able to be involved in making that change happen.
Over the next 5 years, we'll be able to use a lot of the learning that we have from Leo in terms of growing that flexibility in our business as usual environment.
When the project started, flexibility was in its infancy, and it's been a bit of a whistle-stop tour to get to where we are just now, and I think we can look back really proudly in how far we've come, and I think that's something that we should all celebrate.